Hello guys, today I have an exciting new build for you. We're going to be doing our typical mid-range build for a customer, but he had a special request to order in some white components so we can have a Stormtrooper white build on a budget. I'm really excited about how this is going to look. Everyone loves a good white build, so let's get right into it. Starting out with the motherboard, it is rough pickings when it comes to grabbing something in white, especially on a budget. So we decided to go with the trusty MSI Pro B660M Wi-Fi. This is a great mid-range motherboard with plenty of opportunities for upgrading later on down the line if we want to replace the 12400F, unlike other brands around the same price range. Like I mentioned earlier, we're using the 12400F, the mid-range beast on a budget. Absolutely killer CPU for the cost. Once again, plenty of room for upgrading all the way up to a 3080 if needed later on down the line. Now we get to install the CPU cooler, and I decided to go with the white V-True V5. It's a cheaper cooler, but it has LEDs and is all white, which will look amazing in this build. The 12400F doesn't need the most robust cooling system in the world either, so it seemed perfect for the price. Time for the RAM. We're using the Silicon Power stock standard DDR4 3200MHz CL16 RGB kit. This kit is actually really nice for the price, and obviously with the RGB it's a no-brainer. It was at this point that I finally realized the customer made a pretty big mistake. He accidentally ordered the DDR5 version of this motherboard, so his DDR4 Silicon Power kit will not fit. Luckily, I had an extra Gigabyte B660 motherboard to trade for him, but the downside is we are losing the built-in Wi-Fi from the old board. After getting everything taken out of our MSI board and reinstalled in the new Gigabyte board, I like to boot it up and make sure everything is working correctly before popping it into the case. For the power supply, I decided to have him go with an 850 watt MSI power supply, which sounds like total overkill, and honestly it is, but I wanted to give this build some room to upgrade the GPU down the line. The 4000 series, pulling more wattage, I wanted him to be prepared for an upgrade without needing to upgrade the power supply. Plus, for the price this is at, it's a great gold rated power supply with an AirT rating on the PSU Cultist tier list, which is pretty insane value. We also have our nice Gigabyte Eagle 3060 Ti getting installed for the boot here as well, since the 12400F has no integrated graphics. After we get a good clean boot, it's time to install it in our case. I decided to go with the Antex N6 410 White. It was a pretty cheap $80 case and came with 3 pre-installed LED fans with mesh front for intake, promoting good airflow. Overall, was pretty good value purchase when typically white parts are charged at a premium. I did have a few issues with this case, but I will talk about that at the end. Meanwhile, enjoy the time lapse as I put everything into the case. Overall, I am very happy with how this build turned out. It looks really clean, and for the price, this will play any game at 1080p highest settings with great FPS. Only downside was the case. Some of the metal felt a bit cheap and flimsy, plus the pre-installed fans were Molex, with the only RGB control being onto the case. But, you know, for what we paid, I still think it looks and functions great. With all that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, especially if you liked the video, and I hope to see you guys in a future one.